Coming up, the Tron preview and Epcot's Flower and Garden Festival. Welcome to the SeeWDW Near and Far podcast, where we explore perspectives of the Walt Disney World Resort from 10 to 1,000 miles away. I am Mike the Far in this equation.
And I'm John the Near.
All right. As I said, today we are going to talk about the Tron preview and the Epcot Flower and Garden, which we both over the last, I guess for you, Tron would have been, a couple weeks ago, right? With the cast member preview.
Yeah, it was on. Yeah, I don't even know. I think it was in February.
Right, man. That seems so long ago. Yeah. So for me, it was the AP preview last. The first day, I believe, of the AP preview, and the Flower and Garden. Of course, the first weekend of Flower and Garden. It was really interesting. But first, John, how did your week in the parks go?
Well, I still have not been in the parks a lot. I am still on catch-up mode at my work and home, and I have so much stuff to do that I have not been going to the parks anywhere near what I typically would. But I did go to the parks on Sunday. And I randomly decided to go. Well, I shouldn't say randomly. I opened up my app around 10:30 in the morning, and I looked at Hollywood Studios, which I don't do a lot at Hollywood Studios, and I noticed Tower of Terror said 13-minute wait, and I was like, man, I haven't been on that in a while. And I heard that the queue is quicker now because before they were refurbishing one side of it, so it was only running at half capacity for a long time. Now it's back up to full capacity. So I made a reservation and decided that I was going to go to Hollywood Studios since it didn't seem that crowded. And I was going to say, sorry, this picture is taken at 11:44 a.m., so just before noon. So this is right in the beginning of the day. And it's unusually empty. And, there's still lines for things, like there's no walk-ons or anything. But if you look at Hollywood Boulevard, I mean, there's not people everywhere in front of you. And that's been the theme lately when I go to the parks, that the crowds have been very reasonable, I think. So, and so I went to Hollywood Studios, went right to the Tower of Terror. The sign said 30 minutes, and it took about 25 minutes before I got on. And, I don't mind waiting 25 minutes for Tower of Terror. I think that's reasonable.
I want to say, interestingly enough, that day originally I was going to go to Hollywood Studios, and we rescheduled to go to Animal Kingdom to get some coffee. I won't touch too much on this, but I noticed that too in the morning. The crowds were extremely light. Like even Rise of Resistance was only like a 45-minute wait at one time. And, after park opening, 45 minutes for Rise of Resistance at any time is almost unheard of. The last time I even saw that was when you and I went there, on October 1st, the day of the anniversary, when the anniversary began. So I want to say, if you saying the crowds were light, it's kind of what I experienced most of the weekend. So
Yeah, and I was only there that day for a little while, but yeah, I find it unusually light. And I was going to say another funny thing that I noticed, and I noticed it on a couple occasions when I checked the wait times at the parks, was it's not uncommon anymore for Rise of the Resistance to have a lower wait than Slinky Dog Dash. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's got to be disappointing for the Imagineers. The amount of work and effort and they went into making Rise of the Resistance, and people are like, Slinky Dog Dash. That's the ticket, you know. But I just think that's odd that it's already getting to that point. And
Yeah.
just as a side note, I feel like Flight of Passage at Animal Kingdom never really goes down. That just it feels as difficult to get on now as it did a few years ago. So we'll see. I don't know. The popularity of Star Wars in general might be lessening a little bit. I'm not sure. I know for me, I don't really care about it too much. I like Star Wars, but I don't go out of my way to watch anything on it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway, 25 minutes for the Tower of Terror. I always try to get this shot out of the top, and it worked out pretty good. I like getting the shot through the sign there. I just find that a very interesting angle. And here
Oh,
you can
yeah.
see
There you go.
Galaxy's Edge. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of, I went down and took some pictures of Rock and Roller Coaster too, since it's closed right now. It's hard to get pictures of the guitar and stuff when it's open because there's always people laying on that wall. So I did that, and this was interesting too. Fairfax Fair,
Mm-hmm.
they have, I forget what they even have there, but there is absolutely nobody in line, and it's 12:28. That's lunchtime,
Yeah.
And there were people at the other one in further, but I'm like, what is it about this place that people were not interested? I'm not 100% sure. I thought that was weird.
That is weird.
I can't read the sign from my videos and pictures, but I was like, that is just weird that the whole thing was empty. And again, the place further down did have plenty of people there, but I'm just used to everything having lines at lunch. And Moana merchandise.
Yep.
That's the best. And I wanted to mention too, whenever I'm there, I sat down on this bench for a little bit to fix my camera and stuff. And it always reminds me, is there any other park at anywhere at Disney that you can get a bench as easily as Hollywood Studios? Because I feel like there's not. I always think that. I'm like, I never sit on a bench at any other park except Hollywood Studios, and one of these is always available. And I think like at Magic Kingdom, it's like, I don't know where a bench is. People lay all over the ground most of the time. And Epcot has a few benches in the World Showcase, like off the beaten path a little bit, but yeah, there's just not a lot of benches at Disney.
That's a great point. Yeah, a really good point. I never really thought of that, but there's always some bench available somewhere. I mean, you see them literally everywhere there. So
yeah, here, on Sunset Boulevard, the benches, I can always find a bench. I don't know why. Even when it's crowded, I can always find a bench there, and I don't know why.
I bet there's a story in that somewhere. I don't know what it would be, but there's got to be.
But speaking of that, I decided, while I was here, that I was going to walk through Galaxy's Edge, just in case that the Mandalorian character came out, because I saw a lot of people putting pictures of him up. I'm like, well, I'm here. I didn't see him, but so I walked through, and I did go into Doc
Ondar's.
Ondar's, and he was there. No curtain.
I see that. I
He's
see
moving
that.
around.
That's
So he is one thing that I do enjoy there. Like I
mm.
rarely go to um, Galaxy's Edge, but when I do, I'm always impressed by him. An actual animatronic. This is the kind of thing that they should have had a lot more of. Like
Yeah.
stuff like this should have been all over the place because that is really cool and adds a lot to it. But
It
to
is
me,
an impressive animatronic. I really enjoy that too, and I'm always disappointed when I go in there and they have the curtain pulled for that thing.
yeah. Like I said, they must have had a lot more ideas like this in mind. But I just like this place too because I always love how they have the heads of
Yeah,
popular characters on the wall and
lots of Easter eggs up there up top too that you took a lot of pictures of there.
oh yeah, I love all the I don't know if you can see it here. Yeah, it's acting up already. But there's a bunch of droids and stormtrooper heads and everything else up there too. As you go along the far wall, there's just some weird stuff up there, and I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it's really well done, like the way that they did that. Oh, Amazon.
Yeah, they're messing with you today.
Yeah, all of a sudden Amazon, it just can't, it just goes blank and you're not allowed to click on anything. Oh well. Anyway, I went into Doc Ondor's and there was some really cool stuff in there, and I still do enjoy. I really do enjoy that particular store. Out of all of Galaxy's Edge, it's about the only thing I ever do there. I go through that store and that's about it. I walk through uh, Toy Story Land, and I would love to show you, but you know how they have Green Army men? This one was a
Yeah.
Green Army lady, which I
Huh.
thought that was so.
I've
Just
never
a
seen that. Yeah.
so if that makes anybody happy out there, good. Or if it makes anybody angry, good. Either way, either way, there's a Green Army man that's not a man, but Green Army men that a lady's playing. But again, I just noticed it going by. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, yeah. But my opinion is I don't really care. I like Green Army men, but hopefully they can keep their name at least. But yeah, I wonder why it's doing that.
Yeah, it's really messing you up with all the pictures and stuff. But
Yeah, I am going to see if I can sign out and back in. But anyway, the other thing that I did there after Doc Ondor's was I know the lines were short and all, but what I did was go to One Man's Dream, and I did that because I whenever I go by that, I like to walk in and then I walk to the back and I just check to see how close the movie is when they're running the One Man's Dream movie. I like to see how close it is to being played because I really do enjoy that. So, turns out it said 0 minutes when I went back.
hmm.
So I did a lot of recording of it too. It never does well on Instagram or anything, but I don't really give a crap. I'm gonna post lots of it. Like I did probably like 12 minutes of the show, and like I said, I think it's great. So yeah, I'm gonna try this again and see if it likes it any more now than it did before. Yep. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm sure you've seen this.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically Walt Disney's life, and he's the one narrating it too. So it's really good, and I always love the end of it too, where he's talking about Walt is right, quality will out, and it's like he said that's his most gratifying thing, that all the executives finally agreed with him. Like they stopped fighting him on everything. His whole career, they were like, "No, you can't do that. That won't work. This isn't right." And finally, by the end, they were like, "Whatever you say, Walt. Everything you've done so far, we were wrong. You're right." So I like that was his most gratifying part, you know, and that always gets me a little choked up. I'm pretty sure he would. He'd be in if he came back to life right now. He'd be in jail for murder based on what.
Yeah. Well, especially the state of Imagineering, and my goodness.
Just the lack of every movie they do, it's like, let's redo such and such. It's like he'd be like, he even in that One Man's Dream, he even says they just kept trying new stuff, and he goes, you'd have a failure and a failure and a failure, then one of them would hit. You know, you got another hit to pull you back out. It's like that's the kind of thing Walt Disney did. He's willing to take a chance. You know?
He took a lot of risks.
Yeah, that's why all the banks and his brother, they drove him nuts, because they're like, you can't do that. He's like, hey, that's how you go forward. You try, you know. But yeah, they don't do it now. This was on my way out. You can see that is very empty. Like this reminds me of like a 2021 pick, like when nobody was in the park. So again, it's a little, you know, I'm sure crowds will come back up now, but I think the people who are making up missed vacations, I think that's starting to go down now. So we'll see how their pricing and stuff works. So then from here, I texted you and went on the Skyliner to go visit you a little bit at the Art of Animation Resort.
Yeah.
So that was my next thing. So yeah, we walked around and took a few pictures there. I never stayed at the Art of Animation Resort, but I know you've stayed multiple times, right?
Yeah, twice I've stayed there, and I've stayed in the Little Mermaid rooms, which are basically clones of everything that you see at Pop Century, except it's got a Little Mermaid theme to it. So yeah, I like the resort. It's got a real nice smell to it when you walk into it. And,
yeah, I noticed that too.
Yeah. I love the aesthetic, like the design, and then walking around the resort. I honestly, personally like walking around the resort, Art of Animation Resort, as much as I do Pop Century, just because of, and I'm not even a big fan of like cars and everything, but that cars area was cool, man. It's
been well done. Like,
yeah,
it really is. Like, you know, I saw Cars once in the theater when my daughter was little, and I said, "Oh, I was surprised that it was a good movie, because, you know, in mine, I'm like, talking cars. I don't want to see that, but it was a good movie." And like I said, they do a great job of it there.
They really do. Even the Lion King area, which is kind of like part of it is like a playground type thing. That was really cool too. I like that a lot. I think the Little Mermaid area is a little less. It's themed really well. It doesn't have as much as like the Lion King and the Cars theming does, but it's also, I believe, the kind of earlier part of the resort, you know.
It's like a small little section.
Yeah. So, and I didn't really care about that too much, but you know, everything is family suites except for that Little Mermaid section, and you know, that pool was really awesome. I love Pop Century. Don't get me wrong. That's if I could call something a home resort, it would be Pop Century. I've stayed there more than anywhere. You know, and I love it, but I'd say, walking around as far as like kind of the iconic things that you see, it is all IP driven, but I just really I think art of animation is really cool. It's a lot of fun.
Well, I still would say, in my opinion, especially if you have kids, I think that Pop Century or Art of Animation, the fact that you can go to both is just an ideal spot for like a family with little kids
Yeah.
and stuff. Like I always liked it. And again, when I go to Disney, I don't want to go there and go, oh, is this the Marriott with the hidden
Yes.
in the curtain? It's like, I don't need to do that. I'd rather say, look, it's a character from the Cars show just looking at me right outside. It's like I
Yeah.
like that better. I like the obnoxious, overdone theming. Like that's my kind of thing. The crazy theming they have there, and the Finding Nemo pool area too. It's
It's really
amazing.
nice. Yeah.
Crush, Ray, and all kinds of cool stuff. So just a cool resort.
Yeah. I liked it a lot. I will say, I noticed that there was some buzz out there about how over at the Wilderness Lodge, I think it was, they replaced some furniture or something, and people were like, "Oh, it's not a big deal. It looks fine," and all that. And I saw pictures of it, and it literally looks like they've used the same place that the Hilton uses, to put their couches in their lobby and stuff. That used to be like handcrafted
Yeah,
wooden furniture out there, and instead they've replaced it with like couches and like rugs that you might see on Wayfair or something. I
yeah, they're
mean,
doing they're doing it a lot. Even in the new exit queue for Space Mountain, they literally have chandelier lights hanging in there. They
mhm.
have those at Lowe's. I looked at them because I was like, those are pretty cool. They're like they almost look like star shapes. They just have bulbs at the end of all the things. I literally almost bought one of them for my house, and now they have them hanging in this Space Mountain exit queue. It's like, to me, I'm like, they're Disney's supposed to be way outside of the range of any normal stuff that I'd be able to get. Like that's
Yeah.
I find that a little bit odd. I mean, if they want to start with that, then add something crazy. It's like I could have used a 3D printer and came up with some kind of dressing for it to make it better than that myself. I wouldn't, but you could. It's like, yeah, I don't know. And like you said, a lot of the lobbies and stuff, they look like they probably are the same furniture. They probably ordered it from IKEA or something. I don't know.
Right. And that's my point. When I saw that post, I actually made a comment that this is what happens when Imagineering either no longer has the talent or is no longer involved in design, hotel design and lobby design and things like that. So it'll be interesting to see what the DVC section at the Polynesian looks like. But so far as I can tell, it looks fairly unremarkable from the concept designs. And, I just,
To me, it looks like they took the one from
the reflections,
Reflections, yeah,
yeah,
from Fort Wilderness, and just said, we'll put it here.
yeah.
So that's what it looks like. But yeah, and I wanted to mention too, it took forever, but this is where I had to go to eat dinner then when I left where you were. This is Lake Mineola, I think.
Oh,
And
wow.
there's like a bar there where you can it's a dock. See, there's like a bar here and there's seating out by the water. Yeah, there's some of the boats where the boats can park on the lake and come over and eat. But very pretty place there.
That is super cool. Yeah.
And I did want to mention too, I did not go there, but my daughter was at the Grand Floridian on Wednesday, and they're doing all the eggs there. Like you can see an artist here literally painting a chocolate egg. I guess it's like I think all this stuff is really cool, but at
Yeah.
the same time, I feel like they're going too far because at a certain point, it's like nobody's eating this. Why are you making this out of chocolate? I see them do it online. They're like, I'm going to build this elaborate functioning thing out of chocolate, and it's like that's cool, but I don't know. It gets to the point where I don't know. You're not eating this stuff, you know. Like the fact that it's chocolate stops mattering at a certain point. Like this one literally has. It was a Main Street electrical parade one, and it has lights on it. It's like, I know it's made out of chocolate, but at a certain point, it doesn't matter because no one's eating it, you know. So, and then they had Kevin with little chicks.
Yeah, plus they had that one was like from an anime.
Oh, that was Studio Ghibli.
It was.
Like
yeah,
My Neighbor
Totoro. Yeah, Totoro or whatever.
Yeah,
I like that movie in particular, but I'm amazed that they did it. Now Disney was involved with the studio at that time. And
they were distributing for them. So
right. Now they no longer are.
Yeah, it's weird that they would allow that then.
Yeah, that's what's strange about it.
It doesn't really fit with the Disney, but
I love it though.
Yeah, the artist probably just did it, you know. So, but yeah, I do love that Studio Ghibli stuff. Just so original. Like, that stuff's amazing, and
it's really good.
I like Spirited Away. Every time I would see it, I'm like, it's just so weird, but so cool because it's so weird that I've never seen anything like that. So, but anyway, that's all I have for parks. So,
yeah,
if you wanted to touch on the parks.
Yeah, I'll just mention real briefly here on Saturday, the day before you were at the park. I went to Magic Kingdom and for our Tron preview, which was between 6:30 and 7:30, we tried to well, it started to get dark, so we got there around 6:30 to wait in line. But we'll touch on that next. But I actually bought Genie Plus because I was a little bit afraid we weren't going to get much done that day. I thought the park would be crowded. Now the park was, I mean, there were a good bit of people in there, and if we wouldn't have bought Genie Plus, we would have never got through nearly what we got through. Now, remember at one point they said Genie Plus would get you access to like 3 rides or something like that. I think we probably, I'm thinking we used it on probably anywhere from 8 to 10 rides. We got a lot done. And I'd say, in fact, using Genie Plus allowed us to get almost everything that we would really normally ride done. A few things we didn't do. We didn't do the Tomorrowland Speedway, you know, and we didn't do Dumbo, and we didn't do the carousel. We did the Carousel Progress. And we didn't do the, what do you call it? The ones that you take the elevator up to.
Astro
Orbiter. We didn't do Astro Orbiter, but pretty much everything else we did. And in fact, we even went to Tom Sawyer's Island and walked around and had time to do that. So without using Genie Plus. So we really got a lot done that allowed us to do it. I don't like buying Genie Plus. It was the only day that we bought it. I'm not a fan of it, but I would be lying if I said that if you apply it right and it's under the right circumstances, you know, like you get there, I don't know, I'd say before noon, unless you're doing a stacking thing. It works. I mean, the thing works. It works well now. A lot better than it used to.
You were only there for a couple days, so.
Yeah, and that was a big part of it.
Yeah, if you went all that way, it's worth just getting the Genie Plus, I would say, because you already got the plane ticket and spent the time getting there. It's like only for a couple days.
Well, and we just wanted to maximize our day at Magic Kingdom. It was a great day. It really was. We had a super great day that day, and Genie Plus had a lot to do with it. I'm not advocating for it. If you're on a 5-day or a 6-day trip or even a 4-day trip, you might want to think twice because you're probably going to go to Magic Kingdom a couple times. You can spread your days out, just relax, have a good time. time. But if you're only going to be there one day and you have limited time, I mean, I'd consider it. I enjoyed doing it. But anyways, John, by the time we got in line for Tron, we had everything done. And that's how efficient it worked for us that day. And that has everything not just to do with Genie Plus, but also the crowds being as low as they were. The day that you came and visited us, we, after we left you, we went to, the Hoop-de-Doo review. And, I just want to say quick on that thing, if you're not driving, that thing is hard to get to. It's, your best way is to go to Magic Kingdom and, however you want to get there and get the boat to the, wilderness, campground. And that's what we did. And that is a very pleasant boat ride, but you better get there early enough. We got there just in time. And, we weren't the only ones. The whole boat was full of Hoop-de-Doo people. So, we got in there and, it wasn't the same show, obviously, as what I saw in the 80s, which was the last time I went to the show. It was, John, you often say they've dumbed it down a little bit, like they've PC'd it up a little bit. So there's not a lot of joking with people from the state that they're from.
Yeah, I used to laugh a lot when I went there. Like in 2017, 18, we went a lot because cast members were getting 50% off, and we really enjoyed the show. So we even took people there, and they used to make fun of people a lot. And that to me, that was the funny part. Like, I enjoyed the humor where you make fun of people based on where they're from and this and that. And, they would like insinuate the people from Jersey or, in the mafia or something, this and that, like, and everybody would laugh. And all of a sudden, one day we went and they were like, they're from New Jersey and they like to eat. And I was like, wait a minute. That wasn't funny at all. And I was like, I'm used to laughing at this part. One of the most, and then I heard that, they were told they're not allowed to make fun of people. And I'm like, but it's hard to do comedy when the legal team is telling you what you can't do.
And that's it. And a lot of it probably has to do with oversensitive guests nowadays. I don't know, but they did, like, they would rhyme whatever they were saying with the state, and they would like do a little thing, but it wasn't making fun of the person or really making fun of the state. It was just clever.
Were people laughing though? Because
for some things, because it was kind of clever. Some of the things they said, like, it was almost, it felt, it wasn't, they rehearse state names and all that kind of stuff and come up with these gags, but it just was, some of the things that they came up with were kind of clever, and so that's more or less what people laughed at. It didn't get the laughs that I remember as a kid when they made fun of your state,
We got a lot of laughs when we were there.
Again,
I haven't been back recently because my laughs got to be less and less as I would go. Now I'd have to pay full price. So it's getting to the point where I don't know. I'm just afraid I'm going to be disappointed for full price. For half price, I saw it a lot of times at half price. And again, I even recorded some of the shows. I should go back and look. I could probably find evidence of comedy back then.
Yeah, the show in itself is still interactive, and it's still a good show. It's entertaining. It is. I mean, they dance out there, they sing, they do the whole thing, and
when they brought the food out, did they slam it in front of you? Because I think I heard they stopped doing that too, because the last time I was there, like, you'd be sitting there watching the stage show and they'd bring out a big heavy skillet and go boom right in front of you and make you jump, like, and that was part of the fun too, because they'd always do it to me. They'd come up because I'd be watching the show or trying to record it or something, and you would just get that loud slam of a dish right in front of your right in front of you. And I heard they're not doing that anymore
No,
too.
they didn't do anything like that. Now they did like throw a bunch of stuff on the table and slide them real quick, and stuff. And that's the other thing too. I will say the food. I heard at one point they changed the fried chicken to a more grilled type deal. They went back to the fried chicken, and oh my gosh, was that ever good? Everything was really, really good. The food and
That's good to hear, because that always was good. So
yeah.
I always enjoyed the food.
Yeah,
but
the food was good.
I heard though too that they don't offer you. They used to give you all the beer or sangria that you wanted.
No, it's two glasses. You get two glasses. That's it.
I couldn't handle more than two anyway. So for me, there's no impact, because I remember drinking one and I'd be like, I can't see straight. I better stop. So I'm a lightweight with that. So
they're very generous. They're very generous with it though. So I got a Yingling, and then I asked for my second Yingling, and she did that and then just left the pitcher on the table. So I'd say I probably had like maybe 2.5, 3 Yinglings, and I didn't have to pay anything extra for it. So, but it is too, you're right, for the sangria and the beer, and it's limited too. It's only the sangria and only either Bud Light or Yingling. So, so I mean, I don't really have much more to say. It is, like I said, it's difficult to get there and back, but dang, that boat ride is really fun. And I'm like you, John. I'm just a Pennsylvania boy at heart in a boat, and I just enjoy it. So, all in all, I would say I had a good time. Would I go back there repeatedly? I wouldn't. I would not go back there repeatedly. It's an expensive meal and experience, but would I go back every couple years? Maybe. Maybe I would do it every couple years, but again, it was a good time. It wasn't the show when I was a kid. It's a little different now, and that's just everything there. So, it is what it is. But all right, John, how about we talk about Tron? What time of day did you ride Tron?
Well, let's see, around 1:00 in the afternoon. And yeah, it was February 15th. That was a long time ago.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So ours was between 6:30 and 7:30. So it was dark out. So of course the full lighting effect was going on. And, interestingly enough, I found it kind of strange because I didn't know it would do it, but you got that blue effect up underneath that canopy and everything, right?
Yep.
When I was there, every once in a while, for some reason, it would go orange or like an orangish or red.
Yeah, there's supposed to be some kind of team orange and team blue or green or something, and they're chasing each other. It's like, you can't really tell much when you're on it, but there's supposed to be something with that.
Right. And that's it. So I don't know why it went orange, maybe just as a thing because there is a team orange. But I don't think anybody in particular, it wasn't saying that you've lost the team orange or anything. It's just an effect. But, for the most part, the default is blue. So I did find that pretty cool. And I love the orange effect. So, coming up every once in a while.
Yeah, and here's just a little reminder. During cast member previews, half the trains were empty because they did it so long and so many options that it was just empty. And yeah, I was going to say my daughter went with a cast member friend too, and she got to ride it twice. So that's nice.
If you're an annual pass holder, you only get to ride it once in your preview. And I will say the thing that I find amazing about the walk up, you can see that coaster everywhere, man. They've done a great job with that, like kind of giving you a point of view everywhere. I don't know if the ride itself is going to hold up forever. It's a very short ride. But the views of that ride are just spectacular. And again, at some point it may wear off on some people. It may just be a part of the landscape or whatever. But the thing looks really nice in that location, and I quite enjoy the walk up. The line itself, watching the coaster go, hearing people scream, the effects and everything up under that canopy.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I feel like I feel like it's almost like a decoration too.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's that good. It's good enough to be a decoration. So I enjoy that too. So even if you don't like to go on it, it's nice that if your wife were she didn't want to ride it with you or whatever. It's definitely pretty to watch. So
let me specify that she didn't want to ride on the light cycle. She wanted to get into the accessibility car in the back. That's what she wanted to do. And I kept telling her that that's what we were going to do, because I figured I wasn't going to be able to fit on the light cycle. But let me tell you, okay, I am, approaching, I'm like a 290 pound, 5'10" 5'11" guy. And I do have big calves. And so this is a warning and an encouragement. I was able to get on the light cycle. Now I really had to force the restraint onto me over my calf muscle, and it really clutched down on my calf muscles. But I was able to fit in. It wasn't the most comfortable thing in the world, but it was safe. Mm-hmm. And it met the minimum standard. So if you're, portly shaped and in a normal kind of way, I think, I think you will be able to fit on there. Not everyone. I mean, there was people on there that were bigger than me that just said, forget it, I'm not even going to try. And they went and waited in the accessibility line for the accessible train. So because I was able to fit in there, then my wife had to ride the light cycle, and she wasn't happy about that. But I think when we got off of it, she was feeling a little bit better about things. She was glad she did it. Although she'd say she got a little queasy in spots, but she would ride it again. Contrast that with Hagrid's, let's say, which is another cycle type ride. She won't ride Hagrid's. It scared her too much. So. But she did ride it once. She won't ride it again. But this, she said she'd ride again as long as she could get in the accessibility seat. That's the biggest thing that I can add to it, is that me as a bigger guy, I was able to get on it. Some people will be, some people won't get on it. All I can say is that when I got off of it, I had some red marks on my calves from the bar that goes across it, but I didn't mind it. It didn't hurt afterwards. I felt fine. So, it is short, wouldn't you say, John? I mean, the ride itself.
I was going to say, I just played it in the background once from the front row.
Yeah.
Now this is from the second row, and it says about 1 minute and 14 seconds. So
it's about right.
About what it is. So.
It is a launch coaster, and I'm not sure what the speed of the coaster is, but it's a lot of fun. I really like it. Even though it's short, it's a lot of fun. I probably wouldn't wait in line for hours to ride it.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't wait in line for hours either. But I definitely, I don't think you're going to have to, though, because I think it moves people quickly. It's going to scare away a certain amount of people.
Yeah.
And, I think it'll work out well. I was going to say, I'm lucky. I don't know why I did it, but I decided to sit in the back row when I rode it,
Hmm.
and nobody was in front of me, which is better for viewing because when people are in front of you, it's an awkward position, you know. So I'm glad that I got it like this, where I got empty seats in front of me
Yeah.
for recording purposes.
And let's just remember that this is the cast member preview that you're showing. The AP previews will not be empty like this.
Yeah.
But I heard a rumor while I was in line with some other people that they are going to, before they release this, or at least at some point along the way, they are going to add accessibility cars on the back of each and every train to make up, to make up for, this not having them on every train. So I think it's 2 out of the 4 trains that have the accessibility cars, and I guess it's a fairly simple add-on from what I was hearing from these people. Now, again, it's anecdotal. It's not a fact, but that's what somebody in line said.
That's just poor planning, though. To not.
It is.
I just feel like that was not very smart. So.
Yeah, and they beta tested it for a long time. They should have known better. I do see right there as you're showing the locker system, and the locker system works with your card or your Magic Band, your ticket or your Magic Band. And it's interesting because it's the first time that I've seen Disney do something like this. You know, Universal, it's pretty common to have lockers and stuff like that.
It looks very similar to the Velocicoaster.
Yeah. It's a pass through like the Velocicoaster is. So I like that. I like that system because it let me put my backpack and Amy's purse in there. So, but this part I really like that you're showing right now, which is the right before the launch, they stop you and there's like a bridge that you can observe them launching from, and it's really cool. Like I like that.
Yeah, I thought the other effect that was pretty cool was this part too, where you look at the wall and it does all the stuff, and then it clears up just in time to see the Tron Light Cycle take off. So I thought that was an interesting part too. A lot of people have posted that on social media already, but
I like it. Cool. I like that too as well. And it's a little confusing though sometimes as you walk out of there, because I walked straight for the bridge and I didn't even see. I thought that's the way I was supposed to go once the door opened up, and I kind of looked like an idiot because I didn't take that turn where you get to the next part of the queue that takes you down that ramp and takes you to the lockers and stuff. But that is a great effect, I think. Very clever. I'd love to figure out how they did that. But it is really cool. It just opens up the whole room to like almost completely see through that you see down through the train launch and everything. So, yeah, just a neat effect. Walking down that ramp towards the train, at the end of that ramp, right before you get to the coasters, is where that accessibility line is. They line you up right there and wrap you around, like a little room on the other. Yeah, down there, that last picture that you showed.
I'm actually in the accessibility line here.
Oh, you are? Okay.
But it wasn't an accessibility coaster though, but you can see I'm in it.
Yeah.
So, and I asked if I could be in it, and the guy was very reluctant, but he's like, well, this time you can. And I'm like, there's nobody here. Like, why?
Yeah.
I don't know. So, yeah, see, I'm in it, but like you said, not all of them have it. So yeah. I was in a regular coaster.
Yeah. So that line kind of snaked around right there. But yeah, I again, once they get that accessibility car, if they add that on and they get that whole thing figured out, I I think that line should move fairly quickly. Like you said, it's got 4 trains running at any given moment. They're constantly going one after another. There's not a lot of time in between.
The place they have the accessibility cars that's going to block everybody from going further. Like they need a place to keep people off to the side.
Well, they did. That's what I was telling you. If you look at, you see where you were at the line, where you were in the accessibility thing, go back to that video and the one before it. I think the video before that, maybe it's the one before that. Okay, right there. See that room at the bottom down, or no, okay, that's your entry, but look off to your left-hand side. Down along that line at the end of the line is a door, and there's like a hallway there. And that's
here?
Yeah, down in there, and they're lining up people back in that little area there somehow.
But this is where the actual thing is, though, all the way. Or no, I don't know which side I'm even looking at. It's this way. So, all right, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so they kind of have them out of the way, and they're just picking them out of the line as the line moves. So they do have them out of the way. They're not it won't block the queue line, I think.
Yeah, I was actually confused too as to what I should do to get on it. Like I went in the middle, and I'm like, wait a minute, how do I get on this thing? So I thought that was a little confusing.
It is,
and I can tell you too. Physically, I'm all right, but lifting my leg up over stuff is not as easy as it used to be. Like I still run a lot and stuff, but I don't stretch anywhere near enough. And I had to put my foot up to go over a motorcycle a couple weeks ago, and that too, I started getting the hip cramp. I was like, oh, my hip. I don't put my hip anywhere like that. So this was similar. So, some people are going to look at this thing. Like I'm thinking of like short people and stuff. It's going to be like, how do I get up on this thing? So it can be awkward for other reasons too. Like I'm trying to picture my mom riding it. And get on. I don't think she'd be able to get on the thing. So
yeah.
Like she'd probably fit if she could get on it, but I don't even think she could get up there. So I don't. But.
Looking at the back car, though, for accessibility, it's like a standard kind of seat coaster, almost like what the Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind seats are like, as far as sitting straight up and having a restraint down on you or to your lap or something to that effect. So you're right. I mean, that is for people that have back issues or leg issues or arthritis. That this probably isn't the ride for them, But yeah, I mean, maybe I think they could get in the back car without any problem. But again, I really enjoyed I enjoyed the ride experience there. Man, look at that. It looks so fast, but it's just because of how open everything is, I think. And I just love that. I love that takeoff. I love that you're almost feeling like when you're outside, you're kind of like floating on air in a way. It's just a neat experience. Again, I wouldn't, it's not long, but it's just kind of cool. And like you said, it's almost like riding an ornament or a decoration or something, Yeah,
it's definitely a good ride. I'm glad it's not replacing anything.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing though. And I kept thinking of that. John would say, this is addition by addition, right? So
yeah, it's a nice addition, but if they like took Space Mountain out and put this in instead, I might be a little more judgmental about it. But
yeah, I wouldn't replace Space Mountain with this. It is neat though. So, all right, you have anything else to say, John, about the ride?
Well, you're not allowed to record it.
You're not?
No, unless you have a chest mount on.
Okay.
I did not have a chest mount on, so if you want to just do whatever you want, like me, As soon as you start moving, just take it out and then do whatever you want. That's what I did.
Well, and that's something else that we should say is that when you put your stuff in the locker, you're allowed to take your cell phone on there. They tell you can. And actually, in front of you, as you're leaning into the cycle, there is a compartment, like a glove box almost. So,
yeah. And just in case they were watching me, I had 2 phones, so I put one in there, and then I had one in my pocket. I pulled one out of my pocket. Plus, I had a wrist camera on, so even if they yelled at me, I had my backup. So I had 2 cameras going.
Yeah.
So again, definitely don't do that. But if you do, don't wait until you go around the corner. There's a launch part, the part that you can see from the window. This part. When you first come around the corner, this is where you go. See how it's slow? Get your phone out right here.
Yeah.
Hit the button, get it ready, and then you're ready for the launch.
Do it quick.
Because the compartment closes, but it doesn't lock. Like when you go around the corner, just reopen it. But if you drop your phone, I don't know what happens to it.
Well, they have nets
in that thing here. I don't know.
Oh, maybe if you drop it there, yeah.
This doesn't look like a kind place.
No, it doesn't.
I accept that risk, and if I drop my phone, I know that I may never get it back. So it's a risk I'm willing to take. But.
The only other thing I would say that I would add to it is that the exit is now opened up that takes you into Storybook Circus. So your exit point is going to be up next to the Goofy roller coaster, right next to their queue line there. So that was different and actually kind of cool. And yes, that's the other thing. They have restrooms, right?
They're not very themed or anything, but there is restrooms.
It sort of looks like Tomorrowland, though. You know.
Yeah, they like the lights are pretty cool. They like shaped like Tron shapes up there, but besides that, they're pretty. But again, this is a cool area to be at night. I'm going this Sunday, and mine is between 7 and 8. So I'm going to be there when it's dark.
Very cool, yeah.
So I can't wait to see this area in the dark. I even saw people recording the fireworks from there. That looks great too. I don't know if I'll be there at that time, but I am going Sunday night for the to try it out at night for the pass holder preview.
Yeah, I have some video that I took. I did not take video of while I was on the ride because I just wanted to experience it first. But around the ride, the queue line, which is awesome, and all that type of thing, everything around the ride, I got video of. So, and at night, it's just great. So,
I look forward to seeing it at night. So, I like. These parts are going to look great.
I know it looks great. It really does. I can't wait till you see it. You're going to love it. This one right here,
here. It just doesn't come through though. Like they should. Too bad they couldn't make this like gray or black during the day so that you can still see the blue and then change it at night or something. But you don't want a black tarp in Florida in the summer, so it'd probably just be a bad idea. Probably melt.
Yeah, I at night it's definitely a really great experience. So I think it's going to get busy at night, and it'll leave a good opportunity to ride other rides at night. So that's what's cool.
Well, I hope they handle the virtual queue like Guardians, because
they probably will.
Then I'll be able to ride it often, because I'll just get a virtual queue, and when I get there, I'll ride it. So
right, yeah. All right, John, you ready to talk about Flower and Garden for this year a little bit?
Yes.
All right, so I would say from my perspective, most of the stuff is like any other year for Flower and Garden, but from my perspective, the coolest thing about it are the topiaries. They were really awesome. And so this is the what's this movie called that this is from? Encanto.
And this is the lady that's not Moana.
Oh, great shot, John. That is a super good shot right
That's
there.
all I know for sure. Is she's not Moana, which
I
could be.
love that though with the so the main character though that's holding like the butterfly or whatever at night, that butterfly lights up.
Oh yeah, that is a really cool effect.
It
I
is
was gonna
neat.
say I have that too. I love the way
Yeah,
that
there she
looks.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see it glowing there.
Yeah, it looks great.
Like that is just so cool. I agree. That's a really
I just love that. And the topiary looks so good. There's such detail on it. They've really outdone themselves, I think, this year with this type of stuff. These are complicated characters to really turn into topiaries. So but I really, really enjoyed seeing that. And it was a pleasant surprise with the glowing butterfly and Spaceship Earth in the background lighting up.
yeah. I thought so too. Like again, I never even saw this movie, but man, is that a pretty topiary? And I love that glowing butterfly. And
Yeah.
I'm sure the movie's great, but
Yeah, it's cute. I enjoyed it. The other topiaries for the most part, I think, are pretty much the same ones that we've seen in the last couple of years, with a few differences here and
I was
there.
gonna say, isn't the Tiana one new though? I didn't see that one. I walked around really fast and I didn't go into the American courtyard, and I think that's where she is.
I did
So
not
I
even
didn't
see
even
her.
see it.
So, yeah, I didn't see her either. So, I did not know it was there, but I don't remember seeing it last year.
Yeah, I don't either. But and I literally went around and I'm like, I'm just gonna get a picture of every topiary quick and go through. And I missed Tiana, which is a new one. So
Yeah. So,
I gotta get that on
oh, yeah.
Sunday night. I have to make sure I go and see that.
So in the UK pavilion, it looked like they had some new stuff there. They had like birdhouses and stuff, topiary birdhouses. I don't remember them being there before,
Oh,
previously.
you mean a cross on the lake side of it? Because
Yeah, yeah.
they have been there in one
Okay.
form or another. They're almost like miniatures,
Yes.
and then Tink is over there too. But yeah, they've been doing a version of that every year. It is different every year though.
Okay. I really loved those a lot. I think they were cool. They also have like a songbird garden over by where the little playground is that they have. Where the playground is. Yeah, that area right there. There's like something called a songbird garden. It looks really neat.
Yeah, I don't think I don't have that, but it's
It's near there
yeah,
where you're.
it's near this area here. I
Yeah,
was seeing if I got it or not, but it looks like I didn't. Yeah, it's just off a little ways from there.
yeah. That's and the just looking at some of those. I think I've seen most of those in previous years, right? Like the
Right.
dwarves and Snow White, and the theme this year is Snow White and Encanto and the Orange Bird, I believe, right? So
I guess I don't know what the theme is exactly. The theme is buy some merchandise.
yes, it is.
But I was gonna say some of them have been upgraded though too. Like I feel like this is a little bit nicer than it was
Yes,
last year. Here's the garden, the little miniatures you were talking about
yeah,
on
yeah, that's
UK
it.
Pavilion. But yeah, I was trying to think if they changed that or not. But oh, I know what I was thinking. Of course, I don't think I have a good picture of it because I veered to the left here. But Figment is made out of succulents this year.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That is different and very cool. And was gonna say there was some other stuff that was made out of, like some of the hearts were made out of succulents too. Like they started
Yeah.
adding them in. Here
Uh-huh.
you can see it on the butterfly
Yep.
that that's all little succulents everywhere. And
Yes, it is.
and that's what they did to Figment too. And I'll get a better picture on Monday, but I don't know why I feel like he wasn't out. This was the day before when I went. I don't think Figment was out yet for some reason because I
Yeah,
went
I
in there
have
when
video of I have video of Figment. He's you're right. It is succulents. And near the butterfly or that butterfly that you had is that butterfly garden, I believe. So it's similar to every year. But it's pretty cool that they still have the butterfly garden you can go into. But you're right. There was, come to think of it, it was more succulent heavy this year, as far as the decorations and everything.
yeah, that requires less maintenance. So
Yeah,
that's actually smart.
you're right. And also I'll say some of the merchandise is centered around, pots that you would grow succulents in. So, I never really got that until now, made the connection. The festival mug, by the way, is also a flower pot type mug, which I did buy. Like if I see a coffee mug for one of these festivals and it's dated, I'm going to buy it every time. And I did that. So they got me on that.
Yeah, I've been good with not buying Disney merchandise since my wife doesn't work there anymore. I have spent so much less money because we used to go to the cast member store every week, and I would spend like $150 a week, which isn't a lot for Disney merch, but when a
Right.
hat is only $7, you can get a lot of stuff. So I started accumulating so much stuff because I'm like, oh, I like this. It's only this shirt. Like I got like a Disneyland shirt for like $4 or something. I'm like,
Wow.
how could I say no? You got to get it. So, but by the time she got laid off, they did not have that much good stuff anymore. Like it started to be, there was nothing there. We'd go. And I think they were sending anything decent to the,
To the character
outlet.
warehouse.
Yeah, to the outlet store because they could sell it for a lot more there. So they were like, how about we give less to the cast members and make more profit? And that's what they did. So there really wasn't much after a while.
Yeah, another piece of merchandise that I did buy was the Orange Bird sipper, which a lot of people
Oh yeah, I love the
have
Orange
it,
Bird.
and I like that. But that would bring me to what I actually tried at the festival, the Orange Bird the Orange Bird sipper. I ended up getting from the Citrus Blossom in the Odyssey building. And that had an orange lemon smoothie in it, non-alcoholic. We got it on the side so that we didn't have to put it in the thing and carry it around, getting sticky and stuff. And I thought I would like it, and I thought my wife would really hate it. She actually liked it, and I thought it was okay, and she's kind of picky with stuff like that. She really liked it a lot.
I think I got it years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm pretty sure I couldn't even drink it. It tasted like diabetes to me.
It was very sugary.
It was so much sugar. I was like,
It was
if I drink
very
this,
sugary.
yeah. And I always say, I love sugar, but it felt like they took the normal amount of sugar and said, now double it, now triple it. Just how much sugar can we get in here before it stops dissolving? That's what I feel like they did. And again, it's just too much for me. I drank some. And I was like, oh, like it hit me. Like that was. But again, they may have changed it since then. That was years ago. So I don't know what it is right now.
Yeah, it was, and it's like a slushy smoothie type thing. And, again, it was very sugary. Another thing that I tried, I went to I'm not going to spell this right, so it's the Fiesta's booth at the Mexico Pavilion. It says like Jardindi or Jard, I don't know, whatever, Fiestas at the Mexico Pavilion. And they have the Taco Vampiro there. And that thing was really good. It's just a taco, and it had like a cheese shell on the outside of it with, I'm not sure what kind of meat exactly they use in that. Whether it's like a carne asada type meat or something, but I
Mystery
don't.
meat.
Yeah, well, it could be. I don't know, but all I know is it tasted very good, and I enjoyed that particular taco quite a bit. I'm looking down the festival guide right now, and it says barbacoa beef in a corn tortilla with crispy grilled Monterey Jack cheese, which was on the outside, and then there's like some kind of salsa on it. So again, very good. I highly recommend that. I don't know. You probably haven't had a chance to try any food at this point.
Yeah, yeah, I haven't.
Yeah, so I stopped at one more booth, and my wife and I both stopped at the Honey Bistro. And she got the chicken and waffles, which is described as a crispy honey brined chicken and honey sweet cornbread waffle with whipped honey butter and spicy honey. Guess what the theme is?
Honey.
It's honey. And I got the pollinator flatbread with honey whipped mascarpone. Is that how you say it? I don't know. And the honey caramelized onions. It had some kind of blueberry thing on it, some prosciutto, like goat cheese, arugula, a honey vinaigrette sauce, and bee pollen. And that was really good. I'm not a fan of Disney flatbread stuff, but man, that thing just had all kinds of flavors in it, and it was quite enjoyable, especially with all the different cheeses on there, and the arugula, and it even had like a little edible flower on top, which was really cool. And then I got a beverage. I got the Bee Nectar New Wave Lemonade Mead. It was a mead of some type, and it actually had a really nice taste to it. John, I can't really go into much more of the food because that's all we really got into there. Just those few things. And the chicken and waffles that my wife got, the waffle itself being a cornbread waffle was a little strange, just different. I really liked it. She didn't like it so much. There's a purple martin in your picture right now on the top of a topiary.
That is.
That is a purple martin. Yes, it is. And that's the other thing I would say about the festival that I noticed is the purple martins were definitely roosting. They were everywhere. They had they were in the bird boxes that you see at Epcot all year round. There's another purple martin. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, and I think it's the male purple martin is the darker, and the female is the lighter. It's like the female has more brown kind of tones to it, whereas the male is completely purplish black. And I could have the genders mixed up. It could be the other way around, but
Better not.
I know I could get in trouble for that, right? Yeah, they were all out. The purple martins were everywhere, on this trip. You could hear them, you could see them. And that was kind of cool actually to see them. That's the first time I've seen them there at Epcot. But, like I said, the Chicken and waffles I thought was good. My wife didn't like it so much. I think she thought the waffle was burnt. I believe it was actually supposed to be that way. I think it was charred in. The honey was charred into the waffle. So, but she didn't really like the taste of it. I enjoyed it. But anyhow, that's kind of like my regular guy review of the food. I'm not gonna pick out every taste and every flavor there. So that's it again for my thing with the flower and garden. What would you say about the flower and garden festival, John?
Well, I haven't experienced it too much yet, but all I know is it sure is pretty and the flowers smell great. And, if I was coming from up north, it would be quite a shock to your system to see the sunshine and flowers and just the smell of spring.
It brought a smile to my face, needless to say. Particularly the sunshine, the flowers, the scent, the birds, seeing the purple martins.
Yeah.
It was great. I love the theming. I love the new characters that they put out, and how they've done them. Again, the bird boxes, the bird kind of songbird theming and all that type of thing. I really think they've done a great job.
Yeah, and I just went to Pennsylvania too for a week. So, this was the first park I went to when I got back, and it was like 28 degrees, rain and sleet, and just gray, cold weather the whole time that I was in Pennsylvania. So it was great to get back to the eternal summertime of
Yeah.
Florida.
I was there a week ago today and experiencing this festival. And today, here in the central Pennsylvania mountains, we have a winter storm coming through. So, needless to say, which I had to drive through, to get to work and back. So, needless to say, I missed the Florida sunshine and the eternal summer. All right, John. So, how did your social media go for the week?
Well, it's going okay. The big thing I wanted to mention with that is I saw on a Meta creators group on Facebook that in the middle of the night last night, Meta quietly announced that after this round of bonuses is gone, they're not going to do that anymore. So
Wow.
people are really mad about that because there's people that that's a big deal for. I'd have to say that I made a lot of money doing that, but my money has gone down and down and down. And again, it's not impossible for at this point. Like it's not the end of the world for me. But man, those people who were getting like huge views and making real money out of that, they've got to be pretty upset. So I would look to see what kind of thing happens in the future with this, because I have a feeling a lot of popular creators are just not going to care about making reels and stuff. It's like people made reels because they were given incentive to make reels, and it's like I don't see why a lot of these people would continue. And a lot of the shared ones too, like like the ones that show like parts from The Simpsons or Family Guy or something, those people get millions of views. If you take away the bonus from them, I don't know why they would bother with that. Like it'd be like working for free. Again, I'm always jealous that they don't have to do anything but look at cartoons and put that up. Like I could do that, but anyway, I can't imagine how that's going to work out. So what I'm hoping is it creates chaos, and somewhere in that chaos of people quitting and upset and leaving, and I'm hoping that I can rise up even higher during that time, And again, eventually I won't care, but and again, it'll make me post less, because what do I care if I post once a day or 3 times a day? It doesn't matter to me. So I'll probably post less, but I'm not going to stop or anything. I did this long before I ever got paid. So if I don't get paid, I'll keep doing it. And I'll also keep trying to figure out how do you monetize this, because there's got to be other ways, you know. So
Yeah.
I'll look into it.
I'm thinking that maybe this will drive it back to a more photo friendly format, maybe.
Well, photos have been doing pretty good. You know, like this one got 1,200 likes. This one got 1,200. Wow, that's a really common thing. 1,200 for
Yeah, it
that
is.
one.
Look at that.
2,400 for a few of the front ones. So, but yeah, they've been doing all right. Like, you know, although it's weird, my Universal photos have been doing much. They're doing like 500, 400, so 600. So Universal not as much, but Disney, I don't know. I'll tell you too, with the reels, it's so hit and miss. Like it's Meta is just not getting how this stuff's supposed to work. They really aren't. So again, they give you good reach, cut the reach, push your stuff, don't push it. It's just they mess with it to the point where like you had said before, it makes you not even care after a while. You're like, I don't really care. And so yeah, I definitely think that they are making a lot of mistakes lately. But
Yeah.
again, I'm gonna make some money this month, and I guess starting next month I won't. But like I said, it's not the end of the world for me. It's never been enough to really change anything. And honestly, what I did with all my money so far, like 90% of it, I just put it aside thinking I'm going to have to pay tax on it and stuff. I don't really want to spend it anyway. So really haven't been using it. But again, it's very disappointing. Makes me want to concentrate much more on YouTube or even TikTok. At least they're paying something. But
Yeah.
it definitely, I can't say I'll focus more on TikTok, but I think I'll be more consistent with TikTok, and I will continue to put whatever I can on YouTube because they're the only people that never stop paying. So
Yeah. Yeah.
and on a side note, I'm up to 120,000 followers on my Universal account, which is awesome. And I just hit 118,000 today on my Disney account, so that's really good too. You know, it won't help me make money anymore, but like I said, they may change their mind. I'm hoping that they put some people back into it. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. I don't know. If they don't, you know, I'm there's other ways to monetize accounts, and especially when you have numbers as high as mine. So I just have to actually make some adjustments and actually try. So who knows? But that was disappointing though, and I didn't post anything on Universal at all today. I was busy at work, and I'm like, at this point, my work pays me and Instagram doesn't. So I'm like, I got to concentrate on my work. I can't. Where before I would always keep posting at least 3 times a day on Instagram, no matter what. But now I'm like, my job is more important.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I gotta get my work done. So I didn't get a chance.
That's understandable.
And yeah, TikTok 80.1 thousand.
Man, that's great.
And I do good on here, but I just have to watch what I put. If I put something exciting on it, does good. But I don't have that many exciting things to put on it. So I don't post all the time on it, you know. Like if I put something more normal on here, I'm trying to think like this. I thought this was good. Look, it's Toledo. Learn facts about COVID-19.
Huh. Oh my gosh.
What is COVID-19 about? I ate dinner at Toledo. I don't know. But if you want to learn some facts, definitely no place
About
better than
COVID-19. Yeah, what is that about?
Anyway, here's like a store one. I got 3,000 views. The Grinch, 5,000 views. Walt Disney, 4,000. Like, I don't get big numbers unless it's something exciting, unless there's like a coaster or some kind of excitement going on. So, but what are you going to do? Like I said, I haven't posted it. If this is like a few days ago, I posted that. So, I don't know.
400 and some thousand for Rip Ride Rocket, though.
Yeah, that is because a lot of people like talking about which song they like, so that made it popular. So a lot of people wanted to chime in on that. So I think that's the biggest thing. 562 comments on it. But yeah, I've been disappointed with that too. All the awesome footage I got with my new camera, it doesn't do that good. My old crappy footage that I got with my camera glasses did better, and that had no stabilization and that much less lower resolution and everything. And I'm like, I don't know. Again, it's social media is just doesn't make a lot of sense. So.
No, it doesn't. Nope. And some of it is manipulation by the company, and the social media company.
Last week, yeah, there's some 20-year-old in there deciding what's going to do good and what isn't based on whatever they personally like or don't like. That would explain a lot of these horrible videos that get so popular. It's like, this is just garbage. It's like, it's some 20-year-old thought it was funny, and he clicked the heat button and got shown to everybody. So all of a sudden, millions of people saw it. The more I look at this stuff, the more I'm convinced there's no algorithm or anything. There, especially for certain accounts. Like on this account, I put up a video of, this is my Universal account. I put up a video of Expedition Everest. It got 19,000 views, and I did not post it to my followers. I just threw it in the reels directly, not on my feed at all. So organically, it got 19,000. I tried the same experiment with my Disney account. I put up a Hagrid's, which is a very popular ride. I got millions of views on this video on Universal. It got 1,700 views after an entire week, 67 likes and 1 comment. It's like, it's not the video. If I put that up on my other account, it'd get 1 million views. So again, there's no algorithm judging the video. It's not the video. It's other factors, which explain, like I said, that explains why horrible stuff can do really well. Because again, I'm convinced that there's some 20-year-old that at Meta going, oh, I like this. Oh, burn, get this. Oh, look, this one's going to be heated. It's like that's their job, is to decide what they want to do well. Because again, somebody likes my other account, they don't like this one. So I get 1 million views on one and 1,700 on another. And I noticed that with my Facebook too. It was a low number of followers. You can't, no matter how good the video is, no one's going to see it. It just doesn't matter. And that made me think, like a smaller account like yours, you could have the best video in the world. They're going to be like, doesn't matter. Who are you?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, well, it's not the video. It's not the video at all.
I don't get any traction at all for anything.
And that's why I've done experiments just to prove that it's not the video. I have some of the worst videos that I've ever done, meaning the simplest, no thought, no nothing. They do the best. Depends who posts them, And again, some teenager liked my account, and I think I got heated for Universal, which is why I blew up. So what are you going to do?
Yeah, keep pushing forward, I guess.
Yeah, just keep going. But I definitely think there's going to be a lot of changes soon. And
it certainly sounds like it. If Meta's going to cut cut any kind of incentive to post on their, on their service, then I sort of feel like that thing's just going to be an
Well,
afterthought for a lot of
you know,
people.
you know what people said? They said Meta paid people to give them incentive to come over, got them in the habit of making these videos with the constant carrot of, remember how much you got before? Maybe you could make it again, when they really cut the bonuses back for most people 10 times less than when it started, including me. And then they got the volume to the point where they could sell advertising, and now they're not paying them anymore because they have the data to show the advertisers the kind of volume that's there,
Mm-hmm.
so they don't need to pay. So then they're just going to cut them off because they have the data they need to prove to advertisers they should be paid. And again, a lot of the people who are creators were like, you just used everybody to convince advertisers that you're all right, and now you decided to just stop all that. And it's been a long time, and the sad part is a lot of people do depend on that stuff. So like there's people I saw in there, it was like, I depend on this to pay my bills and stuff. And it's like, luckily I don't really. I mean, it's nice to have, but
Mm-hmm.
I will be fine with or without it. But it's still it's a sad thing though, to expect that people are going to do that much on your platform and not be paid anything. Because again, YouTube's going to pay for shorts, and TikTok, they don't pay a lot, but they still do pay you. So it's something. And so if you were a big creator with a large following, where would you post?
I tell you what, I would not post on a format that's not interested in paying me.
Yeah, I'm not big enough to do that at this point. So like I said, I'll still post on Instagram, but I'll be posting 3 times a day on YouTube, and I'll be
Mm-hmm.
posting once a day on Instagram as more of an afterthought. So that's the way it's going to end up, because I don't want my accounts to die because I don't know what's coming in the future. But I've done it in the past. Like I've done it with my Universal account years ago. It was kind of on life support. I basically would post once a day, and it really didn't do much, but I just wanted to keep it relevant, like I didn't want it to disappear. So I had it ready for when things picked up again. So that's basically where I would go back to.
Yeah, and like you said, you never know what the future is going to hold. I mean,
Yeah.
they may open the floodgates again eventually, and
Or they may say, "Hey, you're a bigger account, so we made a new bonus program up for people." And I'm just making stuff up. It'll probably be above my pay grade too. But my hope would be, oh, for users that are over 100,000, we still have this bonus program that you can go in. We don't have it for everybody anymore, but more likely they'll be like over 1 million. You get a special one, and I'll be in the group with everybody else most likely. But it's wishful thinking that I'll be in some. They'll start the levels at 100,000 or something. That'd be nice, but we'll see though.
Yeah. All right, John, where can they find you online?
You can find me at SeeWDW on YouTube. C.WDW.
Say it again, John. Say it again. Say YouTube. Tell them where they can see on YouTube 2 more times, John.
CWDW on YouTube. I'm going to start pushing that on my Instagram too. I'll be
I would too.
If you wonder where my videos went and you enjoy them, please follow me subscribe to me on YouTube.
Yep.
So, and C.WDW on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, and C.UO on Instagram and Facebook, and that's about it.
All right. You can find me at the Giant Rat, THEE Giant Rat, on Instagram, on YouTube, and on TikTok, all of which I am not making diddly squat on. So anyhow, but in any case, I'm just having fun with it, and I just use it as experimentation anyways. But, all right, that should do it for this one. We will see you on the next one.